Today we're going to revisit Handgun Fundamentals, but before we start the Handgun Fundamentals video, if you haven't ordered your Murph Challenge 2014 t-shirts, please visit the listed website below, register, and order your t-shirt. It goes to a good cause and a good foundation. Handgun Fundamentals are the baseline to any shooting platform, regardless if you like to shoot tactically, if you like to shoot competition, or if you just like to shoot for fun static. The video you just saw was 10 rounds shot at 3 yards or 9 feet. When we do our Handgun Fundamentals classes, that's exactly the distance that we teach. The reason being, we don't have to stop the classes to come forward and show them what the errors are. We can see them very easily. Secondly, if you can't practice proper fundamentals at 3 yards, you can't do it any further back. The first step is going to be our stance. I'm left-handed, so my right foot will be in front of my left. If you're right-handed, your left foot will be in front of your right. Your feet will be roughly shoulder width apart. Knees will be slightly bent. We're going to lean forward just a little bit to give us a better center of gravity. What this allows you to do is to move in any directions, forwards, backwards, to the right, or to the left, while still effectively engaging your threat. From the side, again, shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, one foot in front of the other, bending forward, punched out. The next step is going to be our grip. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate left-handed. For right-handed shooters, it's going to be the exact same thing, just the opposite hand. You're going to take your strong hand, which is my left hand, high into your beaver tail here, wrapping your fingers. Index finger will ride down your slide. For no reason is it to lie on your trigger or inside the trigger well. We're going to raise your strong hand thumb up, taking your weak hand palm, laying it on the grip, making as much contact as possible. While doing so, we're going to wrap our fingers. Take your weak hand thumb, try and ride it down the frame as well, taking your strong hand thumb and overlying it on your weak hand thumb. This gives you the max amount of grip possible and control. From the opposite side, this is roughly what it will look like. Our next step is trigger squeeze. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate everything left-handed. As far as finger placement goes, from the tip of your finger to the first crease, first knuckle, we're going to place the trigger roughly in the center of those 2 points. What we teach our students to do is we're going to go ahead and say squeeze as we're squeezing, and what you'll notice as my hammer comes back, it doesn't stop and go. It's one consistent motion until the round goes off. So get a good sight picture sight alignment. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. The round goes off. The reason why we teach squeeze, it does two things. It controls our shot anticipation and it controls our breathing. The reason why we use the word squeeze, our voice mimics our hand. So if we say fire, 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 or pull, 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 it's a quicker word. Therefore, our fingers naturally going to pull our trigger faster. And until you build the fundamentals, a word such as squeeze is very slow, it's very thorough, and it's going to help you build the proper fundamentals. Once the fundamentals are built, the word squeeze or any other word will not be necessary. After trigger squeeze, you have trigger release. We're going to go ahead and demonstrate a good trigger squeeze. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. The round goes off. My slide comes back. What you'll notice is I have not released my trigger. I'm going to keep it depressed to the rear. So instead of saying trigger squeeze, or excuse me, squeeze, we're going to say release while we release the trigger slowly. Release, release, release. You may have heard the little click or pop. This is my trigger resetting. From this point, I don't need to release my trigger anymore. I can go ahead and start pulling to the rear to send another round down range. Slide will come back. Release, release, release until your trigger reset engages, and repeat. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So one more time. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Round goes off, slide comes back. Trigger is still to the rear. While releasing, we're going to say release, release until our trigger reset engages, and repeat. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze till the round goes off.